Hi all, have a good day. Today I'm going to take the class on basic machine learning for engineers. Today's topic is mainly focusing on the machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now we are going to see the what is machine learning. Okay, it is a branch of the artificial intelligence and that is mainly focusing on the development models and algorithms that let computers learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every task. In simple word, ML teach the system to think and understand like a human by learning from the data. Okay, from some of the famous definitions are by the NVIDIA, machine learning at its most basic is the practice of using the algorithm to pass data and learn from it and then make a determinations or predictions about something in the world. That is the famous definition by the NVIDIA. And another Tom Mitchell, a computer program is set to learn from experience A with respect to some class of task T and the performance measure P of if its performance at task T as measured by P improve with experience E. In simple term, if you want to explain the ML means it is the process of training a piece of software called a model. It is used to make some useful predictions using a data set. And this predictive model can be then serve up predictions about the previously unseen data, and we use this prediction to take up actions in the product. For example, the system can predict that a user will like a certain video so that the system can recommend that video to the user. That's what the recommendation systems works. Okay, here it is a diagrammatic representations of the machine learning process. We are having the new data and we are training the model with some data, and using the testing data we are using it for predictions. Okay, in general what is happening in this machine learning processes, first we have to go for the data collections. Okay, the relevant data is collected or curated. For example, this data can include examples, features or attributes that is very important for the task, such as image, text or numerical data. And the second step is the data pre-processing. Okay, here before feeding the data into the algorithm, we have to pre-process the data. Okay, this step majorly involves in cleaning the data. For example, it can handle the missing values, outliers, or transforming the data. For examples, we are doing the normalization, scaling and splitting the data into the training and testing set. The third step is choosing the right model. Okay, we are having the some of the classification methods, regression methods and clustering algorithm. Based on the given examples, we have to choose the appropriate model. For example, decision tree, neural network, support vector machines, and more. We are even having the more advanced model like deep learning architectures and all that. And the next step in the machine learning is training the model. The selected model is trained using the training data, and during the training the algorithms learns patterns and relationship in the data. So this involves adjusting model parameters iteratively to minimize the differences between the predicted output and the actual output, the training data. And the next step is evaluating the model. Once the ones tested in the previous once trained in the previous step, the model that we built has to be evaluated using the test data to assess its performance. The performance metrics such as accuracy, precisions, recalls or mean square error values are used to evaluate how well the model generalized to new unseen data. And the next step is fine tuning. Okay, we have to adjust the hyperparameters. Okay, that is parameters that was not directly learned during the training, like learning rate or number of hidden layers in the neural network, to improving the performance of the model. And the last step is the predictions. Finally, the trained model is used to make predictions or decisions on the new data. This process involves applying the learned patterns to new input to generate the output, such as class labels in classification tasks or some numerical values in the regression task. That's all about this machine learning process. The artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science uh, dedicated to creating intelligent machines that works and interact like a human brain. Okay, before going deeper into the AI, first we have to understand the differences between the artificial intelligence and machine learning, and what is the differences between both the techniques. Okay, while the artificial intelligence encompasses the idea of machine learning that can mimics the human intelligence, but machine learning does not. And the machine learning aims to teach a machine how to perform a specific task and provide accurate results by identifying the patterns. For example, let's say you ask your Google Nest device, how long is my commute today? In this case, you can ask a machine a question and receive an answer about the estimated time it will take you to drive you to your office. Here, the overall goal is for device to perform a task successfully. The task that you would generally have to do yourself in a real world environment. So in this context of this example, the goal of ML is the overall system is not enable it to perform the task. For instance, you might train the algorithm to analyze the live transit and the traffic data to forecast the volume and the density of the traffic flow. However, the scope is not limited to identifying the patterns, how accurate the prediction was, and learning from the data to maximize the specific task. Okay, there are multiple differences still there. In this slide, we are going to see the development of the artificial intelligence. All the terms are related terms, but the deep learning is a subset of the machine learning, and machine learning is a subset of the artificial intelligence. So first we have to see the definitions for the artificial intelligence, and then ML, and then deep learning. Okay, so artificial intelligence is the broadest term referring to the field of making machines capable of performing tasks that typically requires the human intelligence. And next, machine learning, it focusing on enabling the machines to learn from the data to make the predictions or decisions. And the deep learning is a specific type of machine learning and that use the artificial neural network to analyze the data and learn patterns, and it is mainly used for complex performing the complex tasks like image and speech recognitions. Now going to see the differences on between the artificial intelligence and machine learning. The AI stands for the artificial intelligence, where intelligence is defined as acquisition of knowledge. Intelligence is defined as the ability to acquire and apply the knowledge. So it's a ability to acquiring the knowledge and how we are applying the knowledge is the AI. And here in the ML, it's the acquisition of knowledge or skills. And the second difference is the aim is to increase the chance of success and not the accuracy. The main focusing of AI is to increase the chance of success. We never bother about the accuracy. But in the machine learning algorithm, we never care about the success. We have to bother only about the increasing the accuracy. And the next difference is it works as a computer program that does the smart work. And here, uh, it takes the machine data and learn from the data. And the next one is it stimulates the AI stimulates the natural intelligence to solve the complex problem. And for the machine learning, it learns from the data on certain tasks to maximize the performance of the machines on this task. And AI is decision making, and ML is the it allows the system to learn new things from the data. And for the AI, it leads to the develop a system to mimic the human to respond behave in a circumstances. The machine learning, it involves creating self-learning algorithms. And for the AI, it will go for finding the optimal solutions. And for the ML, we want go only for finding the solutions. We never bother about whether it is optimal or not. And AI, it leads to the intelligence of wisdom, and the ML, it leads to the knowledge. When you're considering the based on the types of based on the types, the artificial intelligence are categorized into artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. When you're taking the machine learning algorithm, there are three types. One is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and the reinforcement learning. Based on these types, we are categorizing these types in the machine learning one. And best the examples for the AI is the Google AI powered predictions, and mainly we are working on the most of them are working on Uber and commercial flights and etc. And for the and for the machine learning, the most important applications are virtual personal assistants, for example Siri, Alexa, Google, etc. And mainly the email spam and the malware filtering are the best examples for the machine learning algorithms. And the AI can be further broke down into the various subfields such as robotics, natural language processing, computer vision, expert system, and a few more. The ML can be categorized into the supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. In the supervised learning, the algorithm is trained on the labeled data where the desired output is known. But in the unsupervised learning algorithm, the algorithm is trained on unlabeled data where the desired output is unknown. This is the major difference. Next, we move on to the concept of deep learning. It is a kind of the machine learning algorithm that is inspired by the functionalities of our brain cells called neurons, and which led to the concept of the artificial neural network. Okay. It learned from the data. Here the ANN are inspired by the human brain, and they can be used to solve a wide range of problems including the image recognitions, natural language processing, and speech technology. All these things. The next topic is the difference between the machine learning and deep learning. Okay, we are having the input as a car. We have to find it whether it is a car or not a car. So we are applying both the machine learning and deep learning algorithm for to check whether it is a car or not car. Okay, if you are applying the machine learning algorithm, feature extraction is a separate step, and then classification is a separate step, and then we are checking whether it is the car or not car. If we go for the deep learning technique, the feature extractions and classifications combined together and finding it whether it is a car or not car. That is the major difference between the machine learning and deep learning. Now we are going to see the difference between the traditional machine learning and deep learning. For the traditional machine learning, it can work on the fewer data set. For the deep learning, we are working on the larger data set. And for the machine learning, the low hardware requirements are enough. Given the limited computing amount, the computer does not need a GPU for parallel computing generally. But for the deep learning, we need the higher end softwares to execute the matrix operations on the massive data. The computer needs GPU to perform the parallel processing. And for the machine learning, it is applicable to the training data under a smaller data amount and whose performance cannot be improved continuously as the data amount increases. But here, for the deep learning, the performance can be high when the high dimensional weight parameters and massive trained data are provided. And for the machine learning, level by level problem breakdown, but in the deep learning, it is end-to-end learning. And for the machine learning, the manual feature selection is there, but for the deep learning, algorithm based automatic feature selection is there. From the previous diagram, we can note that The manual feature selection is applicable in the machine learning, but for the deep learning algorithm, it selects the features on the automatically. And the machine learning, it is easy to explain the features, and for the deep learning, it is hard to explain the features. Happy learning. Thank you for listening.